And hello, and welcome back to the channel. I am Bragi, and yes, I am a Viking.
And I'm Egil Thorsson, warrior, trader, storyteller, and of course runecaster, and a bit of history buff.
Oh yes, we all love history on this channel.
But shall we get them to subscribe first on the bell?
Yes, but don't forget, if you are new to the channel, go
the
and click the subscription.
and leave us a comment.
Yes, and don't forget, click the bell. By doing that, if you click the little bot, you'll be notified when we publish.
Yeah.
And if you're not new to the channel, and welcome to. Always great to see our old subs and our friends on the channel.
And we'd like to see more new ones.
Definitely so, yes.
So, okay, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're here to talk about Folktale chat again. It's another episode of this little mini-series.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about our experience telling folktales and how we tell them. So,
well, I've in the past I used to go around schools as a Viking. Part of my remit was to tell a saga. Now, I learned very early on that children are not that much different from adults.
no, smaller.
And yeah, and a lot more honest in many cases.
Definitely so.
And I learned that if you make them laugh, they absorb it more. And I'm dyslexic, I'm borderline autistic as well.
Yes.
And I found humour made me retain knowledge, and it amused people, made them willing to listen. I mean, I could drone on, as could you, about facts and figures.
Oh, yes.
By about 5 minutes, you're wishing to goodness you could fall asleep. After
Yes.
10 minutes, you wish we'd fall asleep.
Well, there's nothing worse than watching a content or a video and the guy's talking, but you're getting bored.
Yeah.
You don't want to be bored, do you?
Well, they're talking without saying anything, and you know, you get people who talk in a monotone like that, and they don't alter it, and they look straight at the camera. And no, you've got it. I would invite people in.
Yes.
You imagine what we have is a big bubble, and it takes one thing to burst that bubble. Once that bubble's burst, you ain't going to get it back.
Of course, the main thing on YouTube is to keeping people's attention on the video. The longer people watch the video and the more views you get, the more reward you get on YouTube. YouTube rewards people for working hard, and they reward channels for getting views. You get views, you get more subs.
Like I say, also it's willingness. If you're doing facts and figures, if you get it wrong, say, yep, got it wrong, you were right, I've checked it up, or actual fact, we are right, you're not, but prove it. Oh,
but we do get things wrong in folktales, we do tell. I've done it a few times where I've told a folktale, I've recorded it, it's been a successful folktale, but I got one name wrong, or I got something wrong in the folktale, and then that can fundamentally ruin that video, and you have to re-record it again, because you become very conscious about what you're doing. And you think to yourself, I don't know if you do this, but I think, well, can I do a better version?
Yeah, I do that quite often. I think, well, I could have tweaked it here.
Yeah.
And with the voices that we spoke about voices and other earlier on, I think that adds a bit of depth and character. It like compartmentalises what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I was in the Viking vlog 21, which was about yesterday, so go and check that video out.
Well, it's like if I was talking in the story and there's Bragi, and I said, Bragi said, no, if I said Bragi went, oh yes, that's a good idea, and he breaks it up.
Oh yes, that's one of the beautiful things about voices, and I think often if we can start to learn folktales and tell them together, that will be more successful too, because I got the narration part of the folktale, you got the voices, and that can add a really good balance to the folktale.
There are quite a few people who have actually influenced my method in that. Tony Robinson, he told the story of a Greek hero, the late Kenneth Williams.
Yes.
A fantastic Land of Green Ginger, and of course fantastic late Rick Mayer with the George's Marvellous Medicine. That was something that...
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them, I must say.
There was a series called Jack and Ori.
Yes.
Our older
I can remember that as a child.
And they used to have famous people reading stories, and Rick Mayer was amazing. As I say, it was a Roald Dahl story, and he did voices like you wouldn't believe. And of course the late and great Spike Milligan.
Oh yes, another great hero of ours.
But I'm not afraid to borrow from that, and I got the informality from Tony Robinson, who was talking about the Greek myths, and I don't know if you've ever read them.
Yes, some of them.
They're hard going.
They are hard going, yes.
And he broke it down, and instead of going, hark who appeareth before me, it's like, who's that, what do you want then? Oh, I don't want to see you. people can associate that because they know somebody who speaks in that way, or it's their pattern of speech that they understand. And it's the same with the sagas.
I was about to talk about the sagas. I mean, I recently, the other day, brought a new book on the sagas by Njal Sigmundsson. So looking forward to reading that. Apparently, there is a version of the sagas, and the tales are a lot more simplified and easy to understand. Sometimes you get a version of the sagas, and it's very, very long-winded and very complicated.
Well, a good copy is the one I use is Kevin Crossley Holland. His work is amazing. He's brought it into the purview of so many people who normally would ignore it.
But I don't know how outdated that is now.
Perhaps, but I mean, I've got is it Gerber's Viking thing from the 20s, and that is so long-winded, and I defy anybody, you need a doctorate, never mind anything else in English, to understand some of them. But having said that, language is, it's like, when I was a student I was told it's like a meteor going through space. Bits flake off and new bits attach, other bits flake off, come around and are reabsorbed. And language is like that, it's a dynamic concept. And even 20 years ago, you used to hear things were wicked. You don't hear that so much now.
I still use the term wicked.
Yeah. Well, actually it means nasty and evil.
But it's like the word sick, isn't it? Yeah. Or it's dope. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
You probably would have never thought you would have heard that on the channel.
No. But do you see, language changes.
Of course so, yes.
We now have Afro-Americanisms coming in where we didn't.
Oh, look at slang, you know, the Urban Dictionary.
Well, I think the average Anglo-Saxon would find us virtually illiterate by the way we speak today.
I think my favourite slang word is a badonkadonk. A badonkadonk is the lady with a big bottom.
Yeah.
Where do people get these ideas from for these words?
Some of them are onomatopoeic.
Yes.
You know, things that go slap.
Yeah.
Things like that. And, but it's interesting to see the development with that. So as I say, you know, again, it's taken that starchiness out so that people can understand it. It's no good you could relate the greatest history or story ever, and if people don't understand it, it's irrelevant. Well,
of course so, yes. So how has your experience been so far with telling folk tales? Something you've not really done in your life?
Well, as I say, I can only refer back to when I used to tell sagas. I do remember I've had severely autistic children, 150 of them, and they were banging chairs and running around, and I thought, I'm carrying on, and apparently they loved it.
Oh.
And I do try to use, when I was doing that sort of thing, having special needs children. And the thing is, if you could talk to children, anyone could do that with practice. Special needs, you've got to be on the ball. I remember I was at the museum telling a story, and this kid, oh bless him, he looked at me and he just went, ah, loud as he could. And you could see in his eyes, he said, I'm sorry mate, I can't help it. It's just what I... So I just followed what the other children did, let him carry on. It's little things like that, experiences. And I really enjoyed helping. At least I think I helped these people, because it's too easy to take the easy option and not help those who need help or understanding of what they are. And I've been a bit of an outsider in my life anyway, and I appreciate, you know, I'm a publicity sponge. Look at me. But well, that's just the way of it.
Well, let's try to get back to talking about folk tales. Which is the theme of the video. So how do you learn a folk tale?
Depending on the length of it, normally I read it through once, and it sounds odd, but the story speaks to me. I can hear, you know, like the voice of a farmer going, "Hey, what are you doing on my land? Minding my own business, actually." You know, it's the sort of conversation, I see it in my head, which sounds rather distressing, but that's the way I do it. And I do it, read it through once, maybe twice. The longer saga will take a little bit longer. But
folk tales?
Yeah, folk tales as well. Any story, usually I can read it through once.
Oh yeah, and so far we've already touched the short folk tales. Just I can get you some folk tales, they'll be 5 pages long.
Yeah, well...
And we've not got to that stage yet. I'll tell him then.
But let me turn it on you. How do you see it?
Well, one thing that I've been surprised with the amount of folk tales out there.
Oh, there's thousands.
I mean, especially English folk tales. Naturally, we live in England, so we're going to have more accessibility to those folk tales. But also how folk tales develop. the different themes, and the hidden messages within the folk tales.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like classic Red Riding Hood. It's saying don't walk through the forest on your own.
Well, of course.
Because you get eaten by a wolf. Or attacked at least. But, yeah, it's interesting to see that. And it's quite fun to try and pick it out because sometimes it's very obscure, isn't it?
Yes, it can be very obscure. You can get very strange stories in these folk tales, you know. Well, and like, fables, of course.
It's like my theory with the white horse story. You know, the horse lives well in the forest away from everyone else. Maybe that's the white horse of this Ljot that they're trying to say, you know, leave it alone, it'll do you good.
Yes, I don't know whether that folk tale has been published.
Probably.
Won't be. No, it won't be.
Probably not.
No, it'll be in the list of folk tales to edit and to schedule in the future. And we've got quite a few piling up. This is good.
Better have too many and not enough.
And what has been your favourite folk tale to tell so far? Or what type of folk tales do you like to tell? I guess you like the jocular, the funny tale more.
Yeah, I mean, the Bogart, that was quite That was quite fun to do.
Farmer and the Bogart.
Yeah, because that one is based on my brother. Ha ha ha.
Not the folk tale, the person.
The voice. Oh dear. He's a bit of an Essex boy. But I base a lot of the characters on people I know as well. I'm something of an amateur author as well. I include people I know. I don't mention them by name. But I can hear their voices, which is odd. Does that mean I'm crazy? Possibly.
Well, I think being crazy helps.
Yeah.
So, would you want to be normal?
What is normal?
What is normal? There's no such thing as a normal person.
Yeah.
You know, the world is full of unique people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so and there's many aspects about folk tales which I like. I mean, the way I learn a folk tale, and I'll read it a few times, like yourself, and then I'll keep retelling it in my mind, and then I might leave it for a few days, and then try to retell it from my memory.
Yeah, it does literally speak to me in my head. So.
But you don't tend to retain them. I often retain the folk tale. I may not remember some of the place names, but generally I do retain the folk tale afterwards.
Very much like the old videotape. When you used to wipe it, it didn't always wipe cleanly.
I just throw some of them away.
And I can remember little bits right from when I was born.
There'll be people watching this who don't know what a videotape is, Egil.
Yeah, it's like a...
It's like a basic old CD.
Yeah. It's like a reel of film that goes round and you can play and record on it. It's like a CD does. Well, they're out of date now, aren't they?
Well, they will be out of date soon, yes.
Anyway.
But we're not out of date, so that's alright.
Well, but, so yeah, you know, I mean, it's the same with the schools I've done. Occasionally bits stick out, but I wipe it from my mind, otherwise I'll get overload.
Yes, well, the day when you get hard to tell folk tales is the day where you'll be reading lots of folk tales to learn them. Yeah, so it's all very interesting. What are your thoughts about folk tales? Do you have any questions for us about folk tales? You know, we could do a questions and answer video about folk tales. If you leave us enough questions, we could do that. I think that would be quite interesting.
Yeah, because we want to hear what you think. I mean, this is as much your channel as ours.
Of course so.
We merely reproduce what we think you want to see.
He's the eye candy and I do all the legwork.
Oh, yeah, well.
Seems that way.
Look at the face. Yeah, eye candy, I like that.
And what are your favourite folk tales to tell from origin, from country? Because you told quite a few so
far. I'll be honest, as far as I'm concerned, they all have their own merits.
Well, of course they do.
I wouldn't want to single out one country. I'll probably bias towards English because I'm English.
I like the Nordic folk tales, I like the English folk tales.
The ones that are really hard to tell are the Irish ones, and those you'd have to tell in the original because the language is so beautiful and the pronunciation is murder.
Yes, that's one of the major problems we have on the channel, is pronunciation.
Yeah, I mean, with
some days I can't even pronounce that.
Yeah, even pronunciate.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've got the Irish and the Welsh and the Scots, each have their own, you know, they could take it the wrong way that you're mispronouncing it deliberately. It's just that
because when you do a folk tale and you do a voice from that country, you know, it's either a good thing or a bad thing. To me, it's a good thing. whether people want to see somebody. I mean, we've had a comment on the Irish video, the folktale you told of Finn and the Dragon, about how terrible your Irish accent is.
Well, now it depends whereabouts you are in Ireland.
Yeah, well, I couldn't do an Irish accent.
If you're in Belfast, it's a bit more strident, but you know, it's softer the south you go.
Oh yes.
So.
Oh yes, but that was from Martin from Belfast. He was on about that in a comment.
Yeah, I can see that. Yes.
Yeah. But then again, a lot of these folk tales, that's the way you tell them, so that's the way it is.
That's the way I tell them.
But in the future, it also gives you the ability, when you get to the point where you told every folk tale, you can now tell them straight. And you can basically retell all your folk tales.
I think that'll be long when I'm dead. It's when we run out of tales.
No, well, it's going to take a long time to run out of folk tales on the channel.
Exactly.
It really is going to take a long time. And it's very interesting to see some of the folk tale. Recently got followed by an American chap who's, I can't remember the channel name, I've already seen one of his videos so far, but he gave us a nice comment, and he sits in person and he tells fairy tales to children.
Well, I mean,
and, you know,
that's another area that people don't seem to cover, is American folk tales.
Well, no, I think they are covered enough.
I mean, would things like Huckleberry Finn be covered as folk tales?
On this channel?
No, I mean, in general, would that be classed as a...
That's a book.
Yeah, I know, but the point is, it's a part of the tradition.
It's a part of American folklore, yes, but there's no doubt lots of channels out there that will be covering such content. Whether we want to get into telling folk tales from America or some of the Native American folk tales, some of them are very interesting.
I don't doubt, there's loads of them.
It's the same with Japanese folk tales, but I think the only way we would ever tell any of them is through a milestone shout, you know, subscriber milestone.
You've also got things like Russian.
Well, they're in our format to tell them, because Russia's fundamentally on the edge of Europe.
I remember vaguely my mother telling me a story about the soldier that lying in the tinderbox.
Yes, that's an old one, that.
Yeah, with dogs' as eyes as big as soup plates.
Well, if you relearn it, you can tell it on the channel.
Yeah, well.
And I think now you've got over 30 folk tales in your playlist.
Oh.
So, and you've got quite a few more recorded, not being published yet.
Well, there you go.
One thing we will do in the future when we struggle to find content to record is record some of the older folk tales, but record them 2 or 3 times. Because I don't know if you noticed that if you record a folk tale and I'll make you do another one straight afterwards, record the same folk tale, you get a better version.
Well, also, some people like it formal, others like it a bit easier going.
Sometimes I'll have notes I'll read from. You can notice my eyes are reading, and sometimes I don't. It depends how much is in the photo you have to learn.
I always remember once I did a saga at school and I forgot it. Instead of lasted 20 minutes, it was about an hour and 20 minutes. I finally got back on theme with it, but it happens.
So if you enjoyed this folktale chat video and you'd like to see another one, then please leave a comment. In the next video I'm planning to talk about Anglo-Saxon and Viking stories.
Sure.
So have a think about that, and we'll record that next week or the week after. So until the next time you see us again on this channel, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye. And don't forget, what should they do?
Press the old subscription bell in the corner there and leave us a comment.
Yes,
and
please.
Hey, tell a friend.
Oh yes, and your grandma, your granddad, your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your friend, your best friend, your friend you don't like, your next door neighbour.
That's a frenemy.
That man down there riding on the bike. Tell him. Tell all your friends. Tell your bus driver. Tell your school teacher. Tell your college tutor. Anybody.
I think they've got the message.
Just tell people.
Yeah. It's been a long day. He's had too many.
I've not had enough sleep last night. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.